Hello and welcome to the St Lawrence's College podcast. I'm Connor.
I'm Riley.
And we are here on Walkathon. We're here at the Botanic Gardens and we've got a very exciting show coming up. Let's dive right in.
My name's Chris Ledbetter. I'm the principal of St Lawrence's College, and today I'm running the Walkathon with Mr King, one of our teachers, as well as about 4 other boys. So we did it the last 3 years. So today I'm running and I'm not being a principal.
And Walkathon's seen a dramatic shake-up this year. Can you tell us the reasoning behind that shake-up?
The only shake-up we have is we're going in houses. We're wearing our house gear, but that's been a change across the college. The only difference, I think, is that we don't have the yellow shirts, but that's $13,000 that can go to charity.
Okay.
That's the major reason for that shake-up.
And what's one of your favourite things about Walkathon?
My favourite thing is seeing the younger boys getting supported by the older boys, and as they're struggling, the older boys move them along. Also, it's a great community day. Connor?
Yeah, my name's Mr Lachlan Asusius and I'm head of Scion.
I'm Mr Nathan Burridge and I'm head of Waterford.
Okay, can you tell us what each of your individual houses are raising money for this year?
This year, Scion House is raising money for Salvation Army to help with the homeless in our society and to give back to those in the community who live on the margins.
We're continuing with our sustainability initiative in Waterford, so we've got the recycling bottles that we collect, and all our money will be going back into sustainability initiatives in the St Lawrence's College community.
I'm Michelle Lucina and I'm the head of house for Nagle.
And what charities is your house raising money for this year?
So we are following in the footsteps of Nana Nagle, who was always for the empowerment of women in need. And so we're doing the same. We're supporting a bunch of charities that allow women in need to escape their condition and thrive.
Mr Malin, and I'm head of Rice House.
Okay, and what charities is your house raising money for this year?
We're representing the Romero Centre, the local refugee support centre down the road.
My name's Mr Ben Russell and I'm head of Tracy.
And what charity is your house raising money for this year?
We're looking up our specific charity this walkathon for 2019 is Eben Rice Camps Brisbane.
And can you tell us why you chose that charity?
Our main charity, or the why we're looking to raise funds for Eben Rice Camps Brisbane is our theme for our house is walking with the young people on the margins, and we're starting locally with the intention of going internationally, moving into future years, but we're starting in Brisbane to start with.
Mr Richard King from Jewick House.
And what charity are you raising money for this year?
St Vincent de Paul Society, which is a great charity, and the boys want to be involved, so it's going to be a really good thing for us.
And can you tell us why you chose that charity?
So we originally in Term 2 were involved in Food Bank, and the reason that we wanted to get involved in St Vincent de Paul was obviously help those who are in need and pretty much support anyone we can in whatever way we can.
My name's Mr Lynch and I'm the head of Hogan.
And can you tell me what charity you're raising money for this year?
Yeah, we're raising money for the Bushfit Mob. They're a charity up north that raise money for the Indigenous, trying to promote sport in their schools, which will raise the Indigenous attendance.
Oh, Mr Samios, and I'm head of Xavier.
Okay, and what charities are your house raising money for?
Our house, Xavier, raises money for the the Australian Catholics Mission. All right, so that's the benefit, and we also raise money for the Little Kings Movement, which we do early in the year, but we also contribute throughout in Term 4.
Good walking, boys. Excellent. Oh, well done. Some flawless walking I'm seeing on the course today. One foot in front of the other. It's really good.
Welcome back.
What is it, episode 2 now?
This is episode 2.
What are we talking about today?
Today, we've got a very special guest. We always have very special guests. We only get the best of the best. Shouldn't say that, because then I could be excluding some people.
Yeah, I believe, what did you say, we have Miss Donovan coming in today?
We do have Mrs Donovan coming in today. She is the Director of Service Learning, and she's just come off quite a high of Walkathon, which has just finished last Friday as of recording this. And then she's got a bunch of cool things coming up. She's got Special Olympics, which is coming up.
And Sony Camp.
Sony Camp is coming up as well. And, oh, look at that. Hello, Miss. Come on in. Have a seat. Mrs Donovan, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You want me to start?
Yeah,
okay.
sure. Go ahead.
Well, from what you know, are you able to give us sort of like a background on Walkathon and its history at Laurie's?
Absolutely. So, I think Walkathon's a bit of an institution at St Lawrence's. Most schools around and people that have gone to the college know that we have an annual Walkathon. So it's something that we're synonymous with Laurie's and our yellow shirts. Although this year we were, walking in different coloured shirts, which is okay. But yeah, I think Walkathon's been synonymous with our history and who we stand for, in particular the idea of solidarity, that we walk together for those in the margins of people in our community, and our schools always looked out for people in our community. And I think that the history of Walkathon is doing something collectively for other people who maybe are less fortunate or need a platform for their voice, has been something that our college has done for over 50 years, and that's a legacy that we hope to continue.
How did you approach this year's Walkathon differently compared to last year's?
Yeah, so this might kind of answer a couple of the questions that come in, I'm not sure, but obviously in line with our new house system in the pastoral programme, the previous Faith in Action programme has changed and adapted in order to fit with our new pastoral system. So normally with Walkathon in the past, we've had about 5 charities, and there's been 2 major organisations who receive money or sponsorship from Walkathon, and then a couple of organisations who receive a little bit less. And that's always been decided from a kind of in conjunction with myself and Ms Kenny and the college leadership team. Whereas this year with our new Faith in Action, Houses in Action structure, it meant that we had 10 areas of focus or 10 organisations with whom we could engage with. And so the change of the challenge was to ensure that we were not missing out on anyone who we've previously supported, but also ensuring that we aren't covering ourselves too thin. So it's been a different process, but I think it was successful.
So how much freedom were the individual houses given to choose their own charities?
So every house has their own specific house mission that's linked directly back to the name of their house or who their house stands for, or a saint that's related to that house. So, Nana Nagel obviously was a female who empowered women and for women's education. So Nagel's house mission is to empower women and to support women both nationally and internationally. So Nagel House were working for Micah projects and for women's programs within that. So there was underlying significant meaning between every organisation. At the start of the year, the heads of houses, myself and Ms Kenny, had a chat around who we're going to support, because as I said before, we didn't want to stop supporting any organisations who we've previously supported. So in line with the new house structure, we wanted to make sure that all the different groups that we've engaged with through Faith in Action didn't lose out because we changed from a different pastoral structure. So there was some flexibility, and obviously going forward, we can choose to walk for multiple charities in our houses, which will hopefully raise more money and get more engagement from the boys. But this year there was flexibility at the start of the year to work with that, and then as we go forward we can adapt and change.
Okay, so the day's over now.
Yeah.
Everybody's gotten their sausage. What is your role now, moving on, since Walkathon has officially...
So I'm going to say, Walkathon's a huge team effort. So I think service learning has in the past been kind of the face of Walkathon, but Walkathon, I guess my side of my role in Walkathon is around engaging with the organisations, making sure that it fits into our overall framework, and making sure that you guys know what your house mission is and who you're walking for and how that's going. This year, with the change in house system, that was different to the past, because in the past we might focus on 5 organisations, whereas obviously this year we were trying to build house identity around your mission and things like that. So that's where my role comes in, but I definitely can't take any credit for the mass organisation of it. Mr Pike and the events team do a huge amount of work with Mr Butterworth getting out, marking out the grinders, the cycling teachers, groundsmen do often work, Miss Turner with all of her events and promotional side of things. So it's a huge effort. So on the day, I was on checkpoint 1, which was fab because we had the musicians there and it was really fun. So my role on the day isn't anywhere near as significant as Mr Butterworth and Miss Turner, Mr Pike and people like that. So I think at the end of the day they a bit of a sigh of relief, but then it kind of starts looking towards, I think, the next event and next year the school's always doing things. So at the end of the day, I enjoyed a lovely sausage sizzle cooked by our wonderful first sportsmen, and then I was able to kind of enjoy the afternoon, which was good. Okay,
so the day is over. What happens after Walkathon? How do you get the money to the charity?
Oh, sorry, I thought you meant at 3 o'clock. I was so after Walkathon, the money will be counted it sounds like, I'm pretty sure back in the day they literally used to count out the money. Don't have to do that anymore because a lot of them come in electronically. So once the amounts are finalised, Ms Turner will let myself know, and then we'll distribute that amongst the houses and then work with the heads of houses on the specific initiatives. So for example, Xavier House, their organisation is Catholic Mission, but Xavier House hasn't decided exactly which programme within Catholic Mission they want to support and fund. And a lot of the houses are around that. So we've got a partnership with an organisation, but the specific programme within the organisation, there's a lot of flexibility around what programme we might choose to support. So that will be the next stage. And then, you know, over the next couple of terms, this term, next term, and then obviously into next year, when we have our Champion for Change terms, using that Walkathon money in that term is probably the way we're going, so that we can, you know, raise more awareness, raise more initiatives and support programmes that have some sort of long-term impact in our community and also for the people who receive it.
All right, so moving on, what is service learning for those who have no idea what it is?
Shouldn't ask me this question. It'll open a massive can of worms. So service learning is actually like a way of teaching, really. So I think, you know, if you think about how teachers teach you in the classroom, service learning is actually a way of educating young people. So the idea behind service learning is that there is a direct link between a service opportunity and what you learn in the curriculum. So in the past, up until this year, we had year level initiatives. So year 7 was looking at sustainability, and that linked into their geography programs, and they were given service opportunities around that. Year 10, their focus was homelessness. So in HPE, in English, in drama, there was links in the curriculum around homelessness, and then we had a sleep out for the year 10 boys. So that's the kind of the inherent nature of service learning, that you learn in the classroom. So you've got critical thinking skills, and then you're given an opportunity to serve the community that then reinforces your sense of learning. So that's what service learning is. In our school context, it's kind of adapted to include, you know, social justice and community service events. So service learning as a specific topic, which I'm very passionate about, and then service learning lorries are a little bit different. So service learning for our school represents both the service learning, which is the curriculum learning linked into service opportunities. It represents community service, so when we, you know, go out and do homework help and things like that. And then it also represents social justice, so the different house and action missions trying to raise awareness, raise our voices and advocate for people in need. So kind of encompasses everything in the college for our context.
So as Director of Service Learning, what exactly is your role in the college?
So kind of to coordinate those things, I guess I've just said. So last year I did a lot of, I really enjoyed working on trying to adapt the faith and action framework to meet the house system. So kind of building that sense of house identity around a mission and ethos. I'm really passionate about it, and I think service learning and the role of our faith and our identity as a St. Laurence, as an Edmund Rice School, is so important. I think it permeates everything that we do. It's part of our, you know, our classroom learning, it's part of our sporting practice, part of our music, it's who we are. And so if we did everything with an understanding of, you know, is this fair? Is everyone being treated equally? What can we do for people because of our privileged position? Then I think the world would be a better place. And if we can be the smartest, most critical thinkers and have the best skills when we graduate, the motivation for learning, for then bringing about justice is amazing. So that's what I try to do, or I like to think that I'm helping to establish some little steps in doing that in our college. So looking after the Faith and Action Framework in conjunction with the heads of houses and all the boys, the various different community service projects that we have going on, engaging with organisations. Everyone knows how fab our boys are, so we always get invitations to work with organisations and trying to make sure that we can, you know, fit everything in without saying no to too many people, looking at ways we can incorporate service into the curriculum, and then just, you know, running events and trying to, I guess, give everyone the opportunity to enact some goodness in the world, basically.
Okay, so how can people get involved?
Cool. So within your year levels, so every house, as I said before, has a house mission. So every term there's a champion for change. So in term 1 that was Waterford House and Callan House. Then this term is Tracy House and Sion House. So every term there's a champion for change where your house has the chance to shout from the rooftops about your house mission and get involved. So I think getting involved through your houses and action program is a really simple way. Whether that's, talking at assemblies, making posters for what your house mission is, advocating for people in need, where, there's always opportunities in the notices to say, we've got a speaker coming in. Just last week we had a sustainability chat, then we had for Waterford House, we had 20 boys put their hands up. 2 days before last week, we got this wonderful guy who's Chris Isaacs has wrote a book around the refugee crisis, and he came in and spoke to the boys. And again, we just said, anyone want to come along? And we boys put their hands up. So that's one way to get involved. And then there's all the kind of co-curricular service opportunities. So special school sports days on this Thursday, Sony Camp, the Sleep Out, Head to Heart Camp. There's always things happening in the school. So I guess just keeping your ears out in the notices and at assemblies and things like that, just listening for events popping up, and then or coming up to me and saying, hey miss, I want to get involved, what can I do? There's always boys that say that, and then I know they're on my radar to hit them up when something comes their way.
Okay, so Sony Camp is coming up.
Yeah.
For those who have no idea, what is Sony Camp?
I'm going to preempt that just because Special School Sports Day is this Thursday as well, and it's one of my favourite events. So Special School Sports Day was actually the Laurie's boys, I think it was about 9 years ago now, said, hey, we want to do a Special School Sports Day because our athletics carnival is always on the Wednesday, and they're like, it's not really fair that some of the schools that we visit through year 11 student development don't get to have a big day out. So the boys initiated it, and it's been going ever since. So we have about 350 athletes from 6 different special schools coming out to Runcorn. We've got 100 Laurie's boys and some girls from Stuart Home and Our Ladies, and it's just the best day, and we just run events, have a sausage sizzle, have a great time. So that's coming up this Thursday. And then Sony Camp is on the first weekend of the September holidays. It's our 11th year, so last year we celebrated our 10th birthday, which we were very excited about. So we do that with girls from Stuart Home, and basically Sony Camp is a 3-day camp for children with special needs, and our boys and the girls from Stuart Home become full-time carers to these young people, which is a pretty big deal because, the boys essentially are mum and dad to these young people for a weekend and have to have responsibility and, all the trials and tribulations that brings. So the boys go through a lot of training prior to Sony Camp, almost every week from last week right up until the end of term. There's training for the boys to make sure they're prepared. And then we go to Stuart Home on the Saturday, and we've got just 3 days of fun and activities. And then we go to the museum, Science Museum down in South Bank on the Sunday, and we have a picnic, and it's fab. This year's theme is Disney theme, so some very exciting costumes to come our way. And then it wraps up on Monday morning, and the campers go back to their parents. You get a bit of a break, and our boys are always, really sad to see their campers go. But there's been some great stories at Sony Camp. There was a boy 5 years ago, I'm not going to give his surname, but his name is Andrew, and Andrew did Sony Camp, and at the end of Sony Camp, Andrew kept in contact with his camper. His name was Jet, and Andrew, when he went to university, became Jet's carer. And so there's been some really great stories around there, around Sony Camp, where the connection and the motivation to serve and to work with people continued on from that. So that's some of the great stories of Sony. But it's such a wonderful experience. Our musicians get involved, our art club gets involved, and again, it's a real kind of collegiate effort from the school with lots of teachers, Miss Mabrisky, Mr Mendoza, Miss O'Neill, doing loads of work behind the scenes to get to fruition.
All right, well that's all. Cool. Thank you, Miss.
All
Thanks,
good.
Miss. Thank you.
No worries. Happy days.
All right, well thank you very much again, Miss Donovan, for coming in and having a chat to us. And if you do want to get involved, keep your ear out in the notices, or send her an email, or go see her in person.
Ditto.
Well, yes, thank you very much for listening to the St. Laurence College podcast. This is our second episode. The response to the first episode was great, and so keep it up.
Tune in next time.
Yeah, all right. Thank you, everybody, for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. You're supposed to say goodbye.
Bye.